Exciting music from a great film, a superb orchestra, brilliant recording. These you hear in the opening moments of Capitol's best-selling record album of 1952, With a Song in My Heart. Now listen to the opening measures of another significant moment of Capitol history.
Out on the plains, down near Santa Fe, I met a cowboy riding the range one day, and as he jogged...
That was the voice of an unknown girl vocalist singing an unknown song in a rented studio. The first recording session of an unknown, unheralded record company named Capitol, a little more than 10 years ago. What an amazing decade. That very first recording, Ella Mae Moore singing Cow Cow Boogie, turned out to be what the trade calls a smash hit. Here's another one that Capitol released at the same time.
And the band plays the polka while she strips. Take it off, cries a voice from the rear. Take it off, take
Johnny Mercer's Strip Polka was the first of his many record hits. Capitol and he were on their way to a fantastic business success. Songwriter Mercer, film producer Buddy DeSilva, and retailer Glenn Wallachs were the remarkable trio that founded Capitol, a youthful, creative organization that quickly showed bigger competitors how to make and sell hit records. Great new artists began to make their names on the Capitol label. One of the first was the exciting band of Stan Kenton. This next novelty tune with a Western tang was Capitol's first to top the million-copy mark.
Smoke, smoke, smoke that cigarette. Puff, puff, puff,
and now, with the passing of wartime production limitations, the hits grew greater and more varied. There was the contagious Latin humor of this song by Peggy Lee.
I'll go to work mañana, but I gotta sleep tonight.
Mañana, mañana.
And then, Pee Wee Hunt's 12th Street Rag. Ragtime jazz that surprised everyone by becoming the biggest hit of all. And there were the romantic ballads of Nat King Cole.
They try to tell us we're too young.
And the brilliant instrumental vocal inventions of Les Paul and Mary Ford.
Until you will still my heart.
These were Capitol's bestsellers, popular successes that firmly established the company as one of the industry's largest, one of the Big Four. But there were new fields to conquer, and here came the conqueror.
Hello, hello, I'm Bozo the Clown. I'm going to take you on a trip to the circus. Start on page 1 in your picture book.
Yes, Bozo the Capitol Clown, making his debut in a clever new record reader album that combined musical fun with colored illustrations and won him a host of ardent admirers.
Remember, friends, this is our song. I hope you'll always sing along, for if you do, I promise you'll always wear a smile.
There were many smiling young friends. By giving children's records careful planning and elaborate production, Capitol created an enormous new market, and in 3 years was selling an estimated 70% of all children's records. Now, a whole gallery of the kiddies' favorite characters were recruited from the screen to appear for Capitol.
Yeah. Hello, kids. This is your old friend Bugs Bunny.
Hello, kids. This is your old friend Elmer Fudd.
This is the piggy that speaks with a grunt. Porky Pig.
Ooh, I thought a putty cat.
Ho, ho, ho! Here's one putty cat that won't disappear, or my name's not Sylvester. Suffering succotash.
I thought a putty cat that creeping up on me. I saw a putty cat as plain as he could be.
But there was another and still greater field to conquer, the field of classical music. Capitol turned its youthful eye abroad and found a treasure house of fine performances to excite the interest of Americans and challenge the dominance of older record companies. Now, the distinguished European library of Telefunken was presented. Beethoven's Eroica Symphony by Wilhelm Mengelberg and the Amsterdam Concertgebouw Orchestra. Just one of the famous interpretations that were now available through Capitol. And on the first Telefunken release, there was the exceptional soprano voice of Erna Sock. The European Nightingale, she was called, and her album became an American bestseller. The Telefunken successes were a foothold in the classical field. Now, Capitol began to expand its position. Bartók's music for string instruments, percussion, and celeste, never before recorded, was the beginning of Capitol's impressive domestic program, the first of many new ideas to be developed here at home. And there were many new artists, too, like brilliant young virtuoso Leonard Pinerio. New artists, new ideas, and new high quality. Capitol's hallmark of excellent fidelity, the full-dimensional sound symbol, became widely recognized and highly acclaimed. Now Capitol was prepared to take the boldest step of its classical program. For the first time, a major American symphony orchestra performing exclusively on Capitol Records, and led in magnificent interpretations by one of the world's great musical talents, William Steinberg, conducting the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra. This was an acquisition of the first order, demonstrating clearly to an enthusiastic audience that the Capitol label was a sign of the finest in classical music. And still, Capitol continued to broaden the scope of its musical entertainment. From the highlands of Peru came this phenomenal voice. Ima Sumac, the exotic Peruvian princess Capitol introduced in a tremendously successful album. Just one of many Capitol recordings of special interest and fresh appeal. There was the music of the square dance.
Now clap your hands, now slap your knees, now elemental, with your left hand and right here.
And religious music.
Onward, Christian soldier. Onward, Christian soldier.
Romantic listening music. A series called Classics in Jazz. From motion pictures came the famous speeches of Cyrano de Bergerac and great musical scores like this one from Streetcar Named Desire. And country music.
John Henry, who was a little bitty boy, no bigger than the palm of your hand.
Christmas music. The music of the nation's most popular bands. The campus favorite, Ray Anthony. And Billy May, whose new style has been credited with rejuvenating the whole band business. And there was the exciting music of the stage, recorded recreations of new shows, and of unforgettable operettas.
The red shadow smoke, the wrist will strike with a blow that brings you home.
Yes, Capitol's catalog has variety galore. 10 years of building have given it mature stability. What's really remarkable is that Capitol's youthful vitality is still just as great as ever. It still dominates the children's market, and it still turns out the big popular hits, like K-Star's Wheel of Fortune in 1952, and her side-by-side this year.
Oh, we ain't got a barrel of money. Maybe we're ragged and funny, but we'll travel.
And Capitol still offers new material to its growing public. Here's moving ballet music, played by the orchestra of America's leading ballet company. This is Fancy Free, the debut musical presentation of ballet theater, one of several outstanding American organizations recently signed by Capitol. From abroad, too, comes a wealth of new material. One of the world's largest collections of opera recordings, the Italian Cetra Library, soon to be marketed in the Western Hemisphere by Capitol. Capitol's horizons are wide indeed, and they grow wider. Wherever music is heard all around the world, Capitol records are sold in ever-increasing numbers. This is the product of a decade of growth and success. This is the Capitol record.